Yes, yes. Welcome to the ancient world of tabletop games. I am Agamemnon, from the historical documentary, Time Bandits. This is a report from a fugitive. I'll begin by starting. It's a tried and trusted move. Let's turn to mountaineering. I'll quote the Scotsman William Hutchison Murray. Whatever you can do, or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. Murray's bold statement is often attributed to Goethe based on Murray's saying so. In creating content of any kind, every kind, I recommend 3 basic steps. Begin it, middle it, and end it. Not counting technical tests I made and left in the vaults, this is my 4th video for the channel. Constructing the first 3 videos, I experimented with audio settings, lighting arrangements, and the entire order of the production process. My first video, the unboxing, took a week to arrange. The next video on Dice Towers I made in a day. After that, the video on Dice went back to a week of planning and execution as I tried new things. For the first video, I started with a script and stopped to set up scenes I'd film. Then, with a large section of video ready, I returned to script extra material. I stole editing ideas from audio commentaries on all sorts of movies. I was inspired by all sorts of movies. On the second video, I wrote the full script and set out all the props I'd need, and then I filmed and edited at speed. The creation process was dogged by gremlins. Almost immediately I had a microphone conflict. This is the 8th movie in the Jason Bourne series, the microphone conflict. Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne, and a Blue Yeti. Little by little my sanity evaporated as things went horribly wrong. I made that first video under ridiculous conditions. Things snowballed down the mountain from there. The third video was a hybrid of the production process developed in the first 2 videos. It was also more ambitious in terms of length, so I expected to take longer to complete that one anyway. I finished the unboxing video in time to enter it into a competition. Deadlines are useful. I followed the pattern set by Murray's begin it line, coupling it with Churchill's famous wartime speech.
Pray propose to me the means by which we may receive a completely constructed, board gaming-related public information film. The conduct of our operations is entirely dependent upon gaming propaganda of a caliber matching that of our rifles. Action. This day.
And that is a board gaming fact. My first 3 videos are appalling. I only hope my next 3 videos are less so and take it from there. One of the channel's features is the use of silly voices. It is not a good idea to impersonate Sir Sean all the way through a video. For effect, I start off with later Connery. If you're going to impersonate Sean, it's not about slurring the words, it's about the breathing and the pauses, the exasperation, and don't forget to roll your R's. Otherwise, you're just not quite dirty enough. Yes. But there's a battle with the microphone over slurring, and it's best to let the impersonation fall away into early Connery as the video progresses, sounding less like the caricature we all know. Early Connery is more clipped and attempts to sound as if he's not only from Edinburgh, but also as though he's in Edinburgh as he speaks. Now see here. Slurring pushes a wet mop into the microphone.
Misattribution of quotes to me is the sort of bloody nonsense up with which I will not put.
What should you do when creating content? Begin it. As a novelist, a short story writer, I begin with story. It doesn't have to be a complex story. Boy meets girl, Girl steals spaceship, ditches boy, involves herself in intergalactic warfare. Boy wonders whatever happened to girl. Girl becomes savior of 3 galaxies and has her face carved into the side of a gargantuan moon. This improvised studio didn't spring up overnight. I started with story. Then I added a table. The gaming table is incomplete unless it is covered in a cloth. A cloth is essential. How so? Let's consult this handy expert.
The Board Gamer's Guide to the Galaxy has this to say on the subject of cloth. A cloth is about the most massively useful thing an interstellar board gamer can have. Partly, it has great practical value. You can wrap it around you for warmth as you feel the chilly atmosphere of your characters struggling to deal with strange doings at Outpost 31. Or you can lie over it during a social deduction game in which everyone is hell-bent on proving that you are the vampire, whether you are the vampire or not. You can sleep under it in a chilly gaming hall packed with people all struggling to deal with strange doings at Outpost 31. Use it to absorb the seasonal downpour of drinks unleashed by the heavens or the clumsiest player. Lovingly caress it while everyone else is distracted by a particularly important die roll, thus satisfying your covert fetish for felt objects. Wrap it around yourself to hide from the smiling Chuckwalla, a creature so obviously dangerous that no one with a grain of common sense would allow themselves to sit down in the presence of one at a game of Dungeons and Dragons, lest play descend into a session of Dungeons and Diners and Dinners. In emergencies, you may whip the cloth out from under a massive game of Warhammer 40k to help extinguish the flames from that unrealistically lit cult sacrifice Cthulhu dungeon going on opposite. This risks killing more people in the resultant cascade of shrapnel brought about by flying Citadel miniatures, and is not recommended.
A gaming cloth is essential. Use your cloth to dull the clatter of dice on your table and apply the brakes to those wayward Würfel. Employ your cloth as a handy device for making the lifting of cards easier. Yes, catch the splash from an entire can of drink knocked over. Stop that tidal wave reaching those precious cardboard components. For video production purposes, kill off the visual and sonic mirror effects of an unadorned table. Blitz surface glare and surface echo in one easy sweep. Add theme to your games. Black cloth for outer space, green for battle and actual fields, muted gold for desert warfare, navy blue for war at sea. As far as videos go, avoid a white cloth for your adventures in the snow. You'll make the surface far more light, reflective. In gaming, adding a cloth to a table is a point of ritual. This is the ceremonial beginning of the game. Your players walk in through the door when the mood takes them. Coats are discarded. Banter. Waiting for that one last player. Chatter. When the cloth comes out, it's time for the game to kick off. Dice appear. Shuffling of paperwork. I'm speaking in general terms, but specifically I am talking about the role-playing game world. Setup for that is often quicker than setup for medium-sized board games. Often, all you need to throw down is the cloth, dice, character sheets, and a game master's screen. You're pretty much set within a minute as other players grab the cloth and help spread it out, dropping their dice on the covered table as they all sit back down. Participants in the ritual gain strange powers. Enough said, true believer. There are those who game without a cloth. What do we think of that, Doctor?
These people are barbarians, Jim.
Story, table, cloth, the backdrop and the lighting, microphone, cameras, tripods and slider rails for the cameras, a second monitor away from the computer but next to the table, assisting in checking shots as they are filmed, sound management, video editing software, sound editing software, props, but first, cheapest of all, most readily available, story. And now a story to end on. If you're pressed for time and conditions aren't quite right, you have a choice to make. It is a stark one. Wait and produce zero content now, or begin it. I left everything on the table after filming the Dice Tower video, thinking I'd produce a talk while filming the cleanup, and get another video out of that. It's not my intention to film the cleanup after each gameplay video, something you'd never normally see on this channel. As I filmed, I noticed the treasure chests had deposited brown wood dust on the gloves I used. Decisions. Stop filming, clean the gloves, change to other gloves, or keep going. I was committed to content creation, so I carried on, and I left the gloves here in the same state so I could film this video and make a point about committing to content creation. These first few videos of mine are rougher than a badger's arse dragged over the floor of a broken bottle factory, but they are my videos done and dusted in wood powder. On top of that, I dropped a few swear words into the fucking videos. This is what to expect on a channel that's featuring a Tourette sufferer who also has coprolalia. Expect fucking swearing, all you sunbeams. Are you going to create content of your own, in dirty gloves or clean? Here's the thing about content. Begin it. Middle it. End it. Begin more. I'm away to do exactly that.